Okay, this is the next step. Now that we're done smudging it, we're going to smooth it out to give it that professional look. Most people use a tool or their thumbs, but I'm using a sponge. Make sure that the sponge isn't dripping wet. Dip part of it in the warm water, then squeeze. You don't want the sponge to be dripping. Bad things will happen if you let the water get behind the clay and touch the armature. You just want the sponge to be wet to the touch. You're pretty much using it like an iron to smooth out any bumps. And don't worry about the water and the plastiline. Plastiline's an oil-based clay. The water won't make it harden or anything, so that's not going to be a problem. Now in a few seconds you're going to be seeing me use a brush. That's not something you need. That's just because my sponge is old. It was used on terracotta and other clays, so little shreds of that come off. So the brush should just get rid of that. The brush isn't something you need for this type of job. Great! More music time. Okay, now that we're done smoothing it out, the smudging's all finished, time for some design work. This is how I do it. I make a thin layer of clay, and that goes on top. And as you can see, I placed it on top of what we made so far, and cut it in half at the nose. This way I don't have to worry about the top half of the design, then later on we'll go on to the bottom half. Now what you want to do with this thin sheet of clay is just lightly wrap it around the armature. You don't really want to stick, so you have to be very careful. Just kind of fold it around the edges, and as you can see I'm cutting it off right now. And it's okay if you mess up on the first design. You can always smudge it out, redo it. As you can see I don't get it right on the first time. And I also made a slight marking so I know where the eye is, so I don't cover that up. And after that, you just peel it off flat, like that. Yeah, make sure if there are any problems, like you push too deep, you can just smudge that out. Then use a clay knife to cut out your design, and just stick that right on top. And it should fit perfectly. Let's see. Okay, wait for it. Keep fiddling around the part. And now I'm attaching it. Playing with it, playing with it. You can play with it for quite a while. And there we go, it's attached. The top layer of the design. Let's see, zooming. Can't get that right. Design. And as you can see, it looks pretty close. There's always room for alterations after you applied it to the armature. And I'm pretty sure I most likely did that. Alright, right now I'm starting the bottom half of the design on the mask. There's not really much to explain because you saw me do it with the top half. However, the reason I did cut it in half is because as you can see right now, it doesn't want to go flat while curling it around the edges. That's why I cut the sheet in half right by the nose. As you can see on the side, it's really easy to just complete the design. You shouldn't have much trouble with that. Okay, time for some more music. Okay, right now I'm just doing some minor touch-up work, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but one of the curves I put for the lower decoration was too thin, so I actually cut it off and replaced it. I know that video was a little short, but right now, this was a step that was kind of useless. I actually traced out my designs, which in the end, I didn't use. I kind of scrapped that idea, but I said I'd show you everything, so that includes the mistakes too. So this isn't really a necessary step, so I guess you can watch, laugh at my stupidity, you know, the usual, and wait for the next clip. Okay, this is where I actually decided how I'm going to integrate my design with the rest of the mask. What I'm doing is I'm smudging one side down, and the other side I'm going to actually keep like a wall. So it goes with my original idea. It's going to contain the rest of the mask. It's kind of hard to explain. However, in the rest of this video, you'll see how I finished the detail work. And in the end, I did go over it again with a sponge to smoothen it out some more. And that's about it. So until then, we'll let the clip finish, play some more music, and we'll see what happens. Okay, now as you can see, the sculpting is finished. My designs are all set. Now let's go on to making the mold. Okay, I'm actually kind of sorry. I was planning on getting the mold making process started with the latex. However, I will not have enough time to explain that since YouTube only allows 10-minute videos. So until then, look forward to part 3. I'll get working on that right now. Okay, since I kind of feel like a jerk for not showing the mold making part, since I don't have enough time, the least I can do is show you some good clay tools. These are the ones I use. I bought them at Pro Paint. They cost about $10. I'll have a link in the description. And they're pretty decent. They're nice, they're cheap, and I guess that's about it. Sorry for being a letdown. Hopefully in the next video I'll be able to fit everything from the latex to the clay walls. Well, at least that's what I'm planning. So, see you next time in part 3.